Testes.
One, two, three.
It's lovely to meet you.
Yeah, we've never met. How's it
Nice
going?
to be here. It's good.
So what's it like in that there Portugal?
No! There are things we think we know about places. But history, prejudice, stereotypes, and the viral
half a year, then you're just hooked for life. It's so good, guys. I can't. It's so good. Now I'm craving. Now, where's my codfish?
Let's talk about food way too early. And
I
then
know.
We'll just end up going.
If this was a Portuguese podcast, we'd be kind of eating as we talk.
The other classic food stereotype for Portugal, in the eyes of the world, is dessert. A canon of little tarts and pastries, which are synonymous with the country. The Spanish are not great at desserts. I think we can say that.
They're terrible at desserts, and they're terrible at breakfast.
As compared to where you're from, yeah, I understand what you mean. Portugal has some pretty good desserts.
Yeah.
Why is that?
This is where I show you how much of a history geek I am.
Let's nerd it up.
Yeah.
Let's go.
A lot of them are based from like these convent sweets, which are created by nuns who used to starch their habits with the egg whites. So before starch, they used egg whites, and they would keep the yolks. Water, sugar, and egg yolk is the foundation of like so many of our desserts.
Pastéis do Belém comes from this as well?
Pastéis de Belém.
Pastéis do Belém. You know this.
It's like a super, super sweet custard tart.
It's sweet.
It's sweet, but it's not super sweet.
It's not crazy sweet.
Not for a Portuguese person.
Yeah, I'm just like that's nothing. You should try like tocinho do céu or whatever.
What's
like,
that?
It's called bacon from heaven.
That's what I thought you just said.
Yeah.
Tocinho do céu.
Bacon from the sky.
Yeah.
Bacon from the sky.
From heaven.
That's amazing. What is bacon from heaven?
It's, again, one of those
I'm in,
sweets.
no matter what you say.
It's just very, very sweet. So you have like a little slice of it, and then you're just on a sugar. Don't give it to kids.
It's like methamphetamine for children, basically.
With great desserts often comes great coffee. It's certainly true here, with the average Lisbonite drinking around 3 espressos per day. But Catarina is perhaps the exception that proves the rule.
So I am not a coffee drinker. I've had one coffee in the last 3 years. So I save it for extreme jet lag. Like I didn't even have one today, and I only had like 3 hours of sleep. I was like, this is not warrant a coffee. I'm obsessed with tea though, so you'll appreciate that, Neil.
Nice.
I love tea. The thing about coffee in Portugal is it's part of our identity. Like you have to have like a coffee. It's so cheap compared to like a lot of other countries, right? It's like 60 cents or whatever for a little espresso, and it's strong. But I don't know if it's the best coffee, but I know you're getting like bang for your buck. And it's very common to have like 2, 3, even I know people who have had like 5 espressos a day in Portugal, and they have one just before bed, and it's insane.
I did enjoy my coffees in Portugal more than in Italy. Sorry, Daria.
I'm going to get hate mail now for this.
Let's go.
There's nothing more overrated in the world than coffee in Italy.
Ooh. Coming after Italy.
Yeah.
We'll be back after the break.
This is meant to be a pro-Portugal podcast episode,
Just
not like a
attacking other
bash
countries.
Spain
So
and
pro
Italy.
Portugal that we're just killing everybody else.
Just kill the competition.
Now that we're back, how hairy are the Greeks?
Exactly. We've gotten rid of the Italians, the Spanish, and now let's go after the Greeks.
What's going on today?
No, I'm enjoying this even more than I expected. I thought I was gonna be ganged up on, and I just have like 2 allies now. It's awesome.
So with all this food talk about Portugal's classic dishes, there's one masterpiece that stands bread and shoulders above the rest. God damn it, Neil.
It's a sandwich so insane that seeing it may turn you off the idea of putting anything in between bread ever again.
Ladies and gentlemen, the francesinha.
Think of it as like grilled cheese on steroids. And it's like a multi-layered grilled cheese sandwich, but it has like different types of meat in it as well. Various layers of cheese. And then it's all put in the oven. On top of that, they pour this like beer sauce on it.
Like a beer gravy, basically.
Yeah, beer gravy. It's like nice and thick. And then sometimes you can even opt to have like a fried egg on top.
That's the one I had. The one I had was a fried egg. Somebody was like, you got to go try a francesinha. Went to a restaurant. And then, of course, it's only tourists. So there was these like Just very like dainty Japanese, mostly women, just taking pictures. Like the thing would arrive in front of them and they would just take pictures of it like it was some sort of like forensic documentation of, can you believe this thing?
I mean, some of the worst TripAdvisor photographs I've ever seen.
It's insane.
It can look quite beautiful and tasty, but the majority of them are just like,
no, it's
oh my goodness me.
You know, when you've had you've smoked like a lot of weed, and then you start digging around the fridge and you create a Frankenstein monster, basically.
In Portugal, like in Spain, one thing that the average traveler might not explore or even pick up on is the whole foodie world of conservas, or canned goods.
But we're not talking about hot dogs or baked beans here.
There are stores in the major cities and towns in Portugal who only sell canned goods. Beautifully retro-looking tins of delicious mackerel, tuna, anchovies, octopus, eel, olives, artichokes, sun-dried tomatoes, and more.
The tins are so beautiful.
Yeah,
and like traditionally they were beautiful. Now they're kind of going all out with them. But they were already like, the traditional ones are so beautiful anyway. It's almost like a shame to open it up. But they're cool gifts and they travel well. And, you know, if there's like a zombie apocalypse, you can take your tins with you and, you know, take all the conservas. We're so ready for the apocalypse. We've got everything tinned. We're ready for it.
Portuguese zombie movie. I'd love to see
I like that. Just very kind of melancholic zombies.
Yeah.
We just be like, hey.
Just looking out at the sea. Like, I could eat some brain right now.
Yeah, but what's the point?
We better get to work on that script.
Yeah, but there is a big old stereotype that fits right in here. The world believes the Portuguese are soulful, heavy-hearted, sorrow-filled people. Longing, yearning, pining, hoping. They are words all deeply embedded in the country's personality. There is this idea of Portuguese people being quite melancholic, nostalgic, sad souls, deep souls. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah.
Yeah?
I say this one's ding, ding, ding.
It's a sad ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
ding-a-ling.
Do you have a sense why?
I honestly don't know why. And it's so interesting because we have the concept of saudade, which is where this whole thing comes from.
Yeah.
Saudade is how I'd say it.
In Brazil, that's how they would say it. Yeah.
It has no translation to English, really.
Supposedly, but we kind of get around it. It's basically like a feeling of like longing for something or someone, or even it could even be some time. It could be like an abstract concept that you either can't get back or you never knew and you kind of long for it. Oof. And it's so intense, it's so deep, and it's part of it is the thought that you may never get it again if you did have it, you know.
Wow.
Again, like not just touchy-feely, we're very feely people.
Intense.
Yeah, emotions-wise, it's just something that we, I guess, are born, and we talk about saudade like from a very early age, right? Because you say, the way we say I miss you is tenho saudade.
It's kind of nice. It is really nice. I'm, as an old romantic, kind of. But it also does sound like the next Charlie Kaufman movie. Perhaps a little of this heavy-heartedness comes from Portugal's own music, Fado.
Some say it came from Africa in the 19th century and was adopted by the poor on the streets of Lisbon. Or perhaps it started at sea as the sad melodic songs created by homesick sailors and fishermen.
Whatever its origins, Fado's themes have remained constant. The hopelessness of love, failing destiny, betrayal, murder, reveling in death, and embracing the wailing despair.
Catchy.
Do you enjoy Fado?
I do.
You do?
And actually, my grandfather was a Fado composer.
No.
Yeah, for real. And he actually taught Amália Rodrigues, which is our most famous Fado singer of all time, a song for a movie that she was in. It's called Capas Negras. It's from I think 1940 something.
Oh, wow.
And maybe early 50s. They're basically the same age. I think she might have been a year younger or whatever. So they're complete contemporaries. And that she was very quick. She was very talented. And but yeah, and you can I still watch it. You can watch it on YouTube as well. And it was like a love song he wrote for my grandmother. And it's called feiticeira, which means like sorceress. And
Excellent. I'm going to look this up.
seeing it live, and if it's like a good performer singing and a good performer like playing, then it's like a whole, different.
Everybody crying.
No, everybody's eating usually. We're eating our feelings.
These custard tarts.
Yeah. Just like, I need dessert now. That was a really sad one.
Don't get too sad or start eating your feelings just yet. We'll be back after this short break with roosters, Ronaldo, the 3 Fs, sayings, and much, much more.
Oh, and also a quick reminder before we go to a break to head over to the App Store to download the Cerca app on iOS.
Every episode of MisInfoNation and Passport are there, as well as tons of other travel shows and our beautiful guide series.
There's extra features such as maps, favorites, photos, plus an incredible concierge service to connect you with local people on the ground to answer your questions in real life and in real time, anywhere you want to travel, including Portugal.
We'll be right back in a minute. Faith, honesty, justice, and good luck are the pillars of Portuguese culture. And for some reason, they're embodied in an unofficial national symbol, which you will see all over the country. What's the deal with
Go.
roosters?
What's not the deal with roosters?
It's a good question, though. I had the same feeling. I'm like, how did this happen?
I didn't realize this was a thing until I did. And then I was like, oh, yeah.
You kind of think about it. You get to the airport and you're like, what's going on with the roosters?
You guys, this is a perfect opportunity to diss France, okay? Because they have the rooster as well, right?
Ah, it's true.
So, but it's different. So ours is different. Ours comes from like a legend. The legend hails from a place called Barcelos, which is in northern Portugal.
Okay.
And there's different versions, obviously, of the legend, because otherwise it's not a legend, it's history. But there was supposedly like this man who was accused of having like stolen something or like committed like some sort of horrible crime. And supposedly he was sentenced to death, even though we didn't have death sentences for theft. And he asked, the local magistrate for clemency, and the guy said no. And he said, if I'm innocent, that rooster that you're eating will come alive and, crow.
Cool. So it's not necessarily like the rooster, like, el gallito, as you would say in Spanish, the chest out, showing off, trying to...
It's not like the French one.
Exactly.
The French one.
Coming after France next.
It's the Nando's.
And then it's Greece, right?
Well, it could be said that the other national icon of Portugal is a rooster in human form.
A man both hated and revered.
A superstar with a neck of epic proportions propping up a tiny, pretty little head.
A football player who was named after Ronald Reagan. Yep.
We're talking about a successful businessman who has a museum dedicated to himself in Madeira, Portugal.
In fact, the Cosmos Redshift Galaxy, or CR7, was also named after him by NASA and the University of Lancaster.
We've produced one really good soccer player.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, what's his name?
Yeah.
Fernaldi?
Fernildo.
Fibonacci.
He's called like every other person in Portugal. So he's either Miguel or João.
So what is, since we're on this subject, what is Ronaldo's reputation in Portugal?
Oh, we love him. I mean, he is part of the reason why people know of Portugal. Like, you go abroad, especially like really like faraway countries.
Yeah.
And you go, they ask you where you're from, and you say Portugal, and they're like, Ronaldo, whatever. And you're just like, that's one. Do you know anything else about it?
Rooster?
Codfish? Vasco da Gama? Like,
He's kind of a rooster.
He has like a roostery energy.
Ronaldo. Cristiano.
yeah.
I've looked into his eyes too.
You've looked into his eyes.
One.
Yeah.
And there's
With Saudade?
there's definitely something going on in there.
How many
but I don't know
kisses
what it
did you
is.
give him?
None.
He did not allow it. He was like, men don't do this in Portugal.
He has a weird vibe. He's got crazy eyes.
Crazy ass?
He's got crazy eyes. And I don't know if it's
I hope
just
that's
like,
not one of the questions about like, do Portuguese people have crazy eyes? Are you hairy with crazy eyes and
now that-
mustaches?
Is there
Now that you mention it, what's up with the crazy eye? Now?
wistful crazy eyes.
Ronaldo's statue in where's the museum?
yeah.
Is it
In Funchal, Madeira.
That statue is something special.
Is it still up?
Did they fix it?
I don't think it got fixed. I don't think there's any fixing.
For
There is
people
no
who-
amount
for
of
people who don't-
restoration that
For
can be.
people who don't know, it's a statue that was unveiled of Ronaldo that looks absolutely nothing like Ronaldo.
Well,
and
the way I
it's-
described it to you earlier was it looks like it was generated by AI. Like they asked AI,
didn't
make
get
me
the
a
hands
statue of
right.
Ronaldo. Exactly.
Didn't get the hands, he's got 3 chins.
The face is smiling maniacally.
That's what he actually looks like in real life. So now I'm starting to think that maybe the sculpture actually did capture him perfectly. It is true that music, football, and religion reign supreme in Portugal.
So in Portugal, we had this like traditional kind of saying, like the 3 Fs, which is like futebol, Fado, and Fatima, which are like the 3 things that Portuguese people like care about, which is like soccer, Fado music, and Fatima, which is like the 3 things
3
that
Fs.
like define our culture and like historically and everything. It absolutely defines kind of things that are so quintessential for
It's really cool.
our country.
Did you change the flag to like the green and red with a black rooster on it with 3 Fs shaped into the chest?
So with all this history, music, exploration, this ancient place must be filled with storytellers and creators. And we were right here talking to one of them. So we thought we'd get serious for a second and ask, are you guys storytellers?
We're artists. That's what we are. I think we're more artistic than scientific.
Yeah, right.
We have that explorer side. But oh my gosh, it just reminds me so much of like this one quote from Fernando Pessoa.
Oh, of course. Frank person.
I'm going to try to like personally recite the
Frank
poem in my
person.
head in
That's his-
Portuguese and translate it into English.
Quote coming promptly.
O mar salgado, quanto teu sal são lágrimas de Portugal. That's like the opening line, which is, O salty sea, how much of your salt are Portugal's tears?
Toma.
That's really nice.
Damn, son.
We're not like emotional at all. Like
Actually, that leads me quite tidily onto something. I said we'd only be serious for a second. In Portugal, it's illegal to do a wee in the sea.
Really? No. Come on.
It's illegal to pee in the ocean.
Oops.
Come on. What, you just look out at the ocean, you're like, that dude, that person right there.
Yeah, the guy was just staring back like this.
The one who's got the look. Are you for real?
How
Is
much?
this real?
How much of your tears are other people's wee wees?
Then again, the brilliant Catarina knowledge busts our public urination law with a brilliant theory.
we have the saying which is called para inglês ver, which is basically like, it's just like a law or something that exists just as a facade that no one actually follows in practice.
So the English can see it?
English can see it, because we have like this long alliance with the Brits, and so we just were like, oh, well, they don't agree with us doing that, so let's just make a law. No one needs to follow it, but it's there, and the Brits could say,
English,
see,
right?
our
That's
allies
amazing.
have this law, so it's all proper. And we're like, that's right, wink, wink.
That's amazing.
So go right ahead. Take a pee in the Atlantic while in Portugal, free in the knowledge that the only people you're pissing off, literally, are the Brits.
So, drinks? Anyone for port?
I believe we voiced our weird relationship with this fortified wine before. It's produced in the Douro Valley of northern Portugal, but I'm slowly coming around to it.
And yeah, Neil's trying to convince me. The typically sweet, strong red wine, often served with dessert, also comes in dry, semi-dry, and white, which is killer with tonic. That I can get behind. So, port. All day, every day? Port.
Ooh,
What about it?
Disgusting?
you decide.
Question mark?
I don't love port,
Right?
but there are people who really do. And I like a port tonic, which is like, yeah, it's basically like a Pimm's kind
nice.
of, meets a gin and tonic, meets port.
English in me is coming out.
Yeah,
as
right?
well.
Just like summertime.
Are you fancy a Pimm's?
After the coronation.
You got to with your little finger out like this.
Porto has a more that at least I felt that the English influence is way because
Yes.
it was such a port.
Port for me was always like a very, very, very British thing.
Yeah, it is. It's like you have it on Christmas or whatever.
Like the term tawny port is the most British fucking phrase you can imagine. Tawny port.
Tawny port. So I just learned that, Portugal gave England port and tea. That's 2 massive portions of British personality.
Exactly.
Thanks
and
to
I
us.
think that's why England and Portugal have been friends for so long.
Pretty much. Port
and tea.
Yeah.
And also cod, fish and chips.
I mean,
the British.
Yeah, no, it's true now that you say it.
This friendship between the UK and Portugal is a special one. In fact, the Anglo-Portuguese alliance is the oldest in known history, still politically enforced.
The Treaty of Windsor was signed on May 9th, 1386, between the Kingdom of Portugal and the Kingdom of England over 630 years ago.
That's more than 6 centuries of tea, fish and chips, and port. Cheers, Portugal.
All right, so before we get to some silly speed rounds of words, sayings, and specialties, let's shoot the elephant in the room. Colonialism. Because of all the colonies, there's all this kind of like, Angola, Brazil, Macau, like all these places that have this relationship with Portugal. But then Portugal, it's not like it's not the same feeling you get like in Brazil, where Brazil you get that melting pot gumbo feel of like all the cultures got cooked here. It's almost like Portugal is held on to its own thing, but I don't know how to describe it. Am I making any sense right now?
I think so. Portugal was the gateway between South America and Europe. I mean, it
Africa.
brought potatoes, brought chilies. It's had enough of its own history for the second oldest. I'm making less sense than you.
But I guess what I'm trying to get at is like it's a small country that somehow has held on to its character.
But the other thing is, I also think, we had all this influence in these other places all over the world, but we don't, and we're proud of it, but we don't like brag about it. Like we don't make it super obvious, right? Other countries be like, oh, well, we were there and that happened. And now you have to thank, like, we don't go up to the British and be like, you can thank us for your tea. I mean, I do with my English friends, but that's just me being, I'm like, you're so welcome. This cream tea we're having now, it wouldn't even be possible.
Well, now it's time for one of our faves. Me and Neil destroying the Portuguese language. Well, mostly Neil.
Hey.
When I speak Portuguese, it's basically just Spanish with a really bad Portuguese accent. I apologize.
Your Portuguese is better than Neil's.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Every accent. Andrés is better than
You're
mine.
Swedish.
Oh,
Beautiful.
perfection.
It's beautiful.
Even your English accent isn't even that English.
Hey, here we go. Portuguese sayings.
Cafuné, Brazilian.
Yeah, I know that one actually.
What does it mean?
A little caress, like running your fingers through someone's hair, like things like that. Like
That's nice.
But being really
Is that
sad.
is that what
but
it
being
says?
really sad about it.
That's the Portuguese version.
It's the Portuguese.
Yeah, they don't have that in Brazil with
It's running your
tears.
hands through someone's hair while they're crying.
That would be quite sweet. If I'm crying, I would want somebody to run their fingers through my hair and make me feel better.
I think I do that every day, almost.
To yourself?
To myself.
You cafuné yourself.
Self-caffeinating.
Ir como os porcos.
Go with the pigs.
Yeah, it does mean to die. We have lots of, my
means to
favorite
die.
one to die is actually
Wow.
to give the master fart.
What?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Dar o pé de mestre.
The master fart
Yeah.
is when you shuffle off this mortal coil.
Yeah, it's like
Wow.
your one last
You have
big
one
fart.
last-
One last fart.
The master fart.
There's lots
beautiful.
there's lots of random ways to say dead in Portuguese. So
Can you tell us some other ones? Because that one is wonderful.
São muitos anos a virar a frangos. Something to do with chickens. Frangos is an amazing word for chicken.
It really is.
Frangos.
Yeah, that's a common one. It just means you've been doing something for a long time.
You're experienced. You do 10,000 hours of flipping chickens.
Yeah, you get good at it, right? Like, this ain't my first rodeo kind of thing, Tirar o cavalinho da chuva.
So to get the horse out of the rain.
The little horse
The
out
little
of the
horse.
rain. Yeah.
So what does it mean?
Yeah, keep dreaming kind of thing. Like, oh, I'm going to go to Bora Bora for a week. I'm hoping to get flights for like 300 euros return. And I'd be like, yeah, tiro cavalinho da chuva. Like, that's never going to happen. Like,
Never gonna happen.
Good luck getting that
Yeah.
little horse out of the rain.
yeah, take your little horse
so
out of the
sexy.
rain. But it's so interesting too. Like, it doesn't even, in my mind, I'm like, why is it a little horse,
Yeah,
right?
it's very specific.
And the reason is, right, because Portuguese people use diminutives for everything. Like,
So how do you do it?
so like my cousin, like Antonio, he's Toninho, which means like little Tony, you know, like
Little Tony.
What do you want from me? You want a Francesino or what?
Little Tony,
There's
man.
a special place around the corner.
yeah, or like o Joãozinho or Terezinha or whatever. Like everybody is like got a little name. Like
I mean, a francesinha,
There
the
you go.
most monstrous sandwich ever created.
A little
Little Francis.
just a little Frenchie.
Just doused in beer with 5 different types of meat.
Yeah, basically.
Oh, he's so cute.
But yeah, so the little horsey in the rain.
Bolpantar macacos. Go comb monkeys.
We have a few ways of saying like get out of here. And yeah, it's kind of like that. Another one is vai chatear o Camões. Camões was like it was like our Shakespeare. It means like go bother Camões. Like don't bother me. Like so like there's lots of like random ways we say like we have a lot of idioms and things. So
Go talk to Shakespeare.
Yeah.
All right, guys, so let's get this little horse out of the rain. Let's swallow that frog and go bother Camões.
What does Catarina feel is the biggest myth about Portugal?
I think the fact that we have a very separate identity to Spain, and we're not an inferior Spain or a less known Spain for whatever. I mean, we're a less known country. We're not a less known Spain, you know? I think for me, that's like the big one because Spain has great PR, you know, whatever. Whoever did their PR did a great job. And I think hopefully this episode and some other information out there will kind of set the record straight that we are unique. We have some similarities for sure, but we're a completely different country. We're an older country, and we're actually a more homogenous country.
That's great.
And our women are more beautiful. I'm just kidding.
Up until they turn 35.
Zero hair.
You said 30 before, but I like that we're going up. I like it. Next episode's like until they're 55.
Portugal invented the microphone shield, the wheelchair lift, ATMs, automated motorway tolls, the ukulele, the vindaloo curry, tempura, and of course, the chart of latitudes and the mariner's astrolabe, which aided ages of discovery for the world. Portugal is a country hitting above its weight.
We're definitely not a perfect country, but we have a lot of good stuff going for us. Yeah. And I definitely appreciate it more now after having lived abroad. And I have saudade for Portugal.
Oh.
So, yeah. It's even when I was living abroad and enjoying it, you know, you always have this sense of saudade that kind of brings you home. And like one of our symbols, apart from the rooster, is like the swallow, because they always come back and nest in the exact same location. And it's very traditional to have them in your home, these like little ceramic swallows.
Ah, that's really sweet.
That's lovely.
Get out of here.
It's
You're
like
you're making me
Are we
tear
gonna
up.
cry an ocean now?
Cue the Fado.
Yeah.
So, Portugal. With your rugged coastline and your hilly towns, with your 300 days of sunshine and your love of the sea, a small percentage of which is definitely tears and urine. You're a constantly surprising nation.
Whenever you meet another Portuguese person abroad, you have this instant, like, it doesn't matter, like, what your political party is, what your religion is, what part of the country you're from. You immediately get if I'm in London and I go to a restaurant and the owner's like Portuguese and there's not a table, right? I could basically call in like a favor from some. That could be an exaggeration situation, but that could also like happen as well. Yeah. So depending on the situation. So, and I've had that. I've said, "Oh, you're so and so. Oh, I'm Portuguese too. No way. Can you help me out here?" And they go, "Yeah, let me see what I can do." So it's kind of really cool because we because I think there's so few of us. We're not like the Icelandics where we're like extremely rare, right? And we're all related, but we're like close enough related that we're like, you're part of the club, I'm part of the club.
Yeah.
Let's help each other out because you're going to help me and then I'm going to help you. And that's how it works. So I think it's a really cool feeling. I really enjoy it.
That's really nice.
I'm a very nice person.
That was lovely.
That was great.
In 2023, the Expat Insider put Portugal in the 10th spot out of 53 countries in Europe to live based on quality of life.
It feels like they really do know how to enjoy life at a slower pace, a happier pace, even if there is a little sorrow thrown in there for good measure.
Well, thank you.
You're so welcome.
That's lovely.
No, thank you guys.
fun.
This was
It's
really
amazing.
fun. Did I need to curse more?
No,
You can if you
we'll
want.
add some in. I love to. Do we have a reputation for being like foul mouths?
It depends who we're talking to.
I guess.
We get foul-mouthed according to who we're with. I think we did very well here.
I think
You
I
guys
might
were
have
great.
sworn like
Twice. Yeah, no, I know. I was like, I thought it was because I'm like a woman. You guys are being like, oh, it's the company of it.
Oh, no. Wait till you hear Mexico. My God.
Can we get a picture?
Yeah.
Or like my.
Let's do it. Yay!
From my.
Ready?
Okay. I need to get higher up because I don't want to be the short
2,
Portuguese person.
1. Testes!
Testes. 1, 2, 3. Neil and Andrés have tasked me with a nearly impossible mission to tell you my top 5 things to do in Portugal. I decided to make 5 not obvious recommendations, which is why places like Lisbon and Porto are not on my list. Number 1, go to the Azores. I can't recommend this one enough. If you love nature and don't mind a little island hopping, there's so much to do on this gorgeous archipelago. Go on nature hikes, take a boat trip to go whale and dolphin watching, and explore all the hot springs and volcanoes and lagoons everywhere. Oh, and don't forget to end your day with a well-earned and delicious meal, because the food out there is so good. Number 2, stay in a Pousada de Portugal. This chain uses historic buildings such as estates, palaces, convents, and even castles for its hotels. They're found all over the country, and if you're a big history geek like me, then you'll love staying somewhere steeped in history. Number 3, check out the coast. Definitely drive or walk or bike or run along the coast. Just any coast. But also, stop for a bit and soak it all in. Portugal's coastlines are beautiful, so you can't really go wrong. And don't assume the best coastlines are in the Algarve just because that's where everybody goes to the beach. The Sudoeste area between Lisbon and the Algarve, for example, is stunning. Number 4, natural parks. Okay, yes, this is a bit vague, but no matter which part of the country you're in, there's always going to be a natural park or a natural reserve near you. Peneda de Gerês National Park is a particularly beautiful one, which I highly recommend. Now, for those of you who just want to get away from it all, number 5 is for you. Go way inland to discover traditional Portuguese villages known as aldeias históricas, which include villages such as Piadão and Monsanto. And for other off-the-beaten-track places, check out the aldeias de Xisto, the schist villages. Now, before you rewind what I just said, that's Schist. The interior of Portugal is where you go to get away from it all and just disconnect from the 21st century. It's probably the closest thing we have to time travel. And yes, of course you can find incredible, authentic food out there. So, Andrés, Neil, after these 5 recommendations, I look forward to seeing you in Portugal real soon. To everyone else, I hope this list inspires you to explore parts of my country that you never even knew existed. Wherever you end up, I hope you eat well, drink well, and savor every single moment.
That's it for this week, guys. Huge thanks to Catarina for spending the evening with us and indulging our misinformed minds. Check out her tremendous writing on Portugal at aportugueseaffair.com.
So there's a load of incredible stories on everything that Portugal has to offer. We highly recommend it. And keep an eye out in the Cerca app or anywhere you get your podcasts for Catarina's own Portuguese Affair podcast, which is out now from Cerca.
We'll be back really soon with a bunch of special episodes very close to mine and Andrés' hearts. We'll let you figure those ones out. See you next time on MisInfoNation.
And remember, if you think it's a stupid question, it probably isn't.
This episode of MisInfoNation was written by me, Neil Innes, and Andrés Bartos. Huge thanks again to Catarina for her 365 recipes for cod and her musings on her own beautiful home of Portugal. MisInfoNation is mixed and mastered by Julian Kwasniewski. Stacey Book, Dominic Ferrari, and Avi Glijansky are eating their feelings to some powerful Fado right now. They also executive produce the show, which is hosted by me and a man who has well over 10,000 hours of flipping chickens, but still constantly pees in the ocean. Andrés Bartos. We'll see you in the next place.